Now, let's understand something. There are three modes of escape in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu. Let's say, for example, I'm in turtle position and my training partner is behind me. One mode of escape in these kinds of situations might be an escape to a neutral position. Okay, so for example, if I stood up on my training partner in situations like this and turned and faced him in a neutral situation, I've escaped from a given position of disadvantage. My opponent was on my back and I stood up and I got back to neutral. So that would be one form of escape. A second form of escape might occur where we get what we call a complete reversal. Okay, say for example, bottom mounted position. My opponent's mounted. And however we've contrived it, we've trapped our training partner's sleeve on one side, foot on the other, and then from here we hit a complete reversal and we switch from top position to bottom, from bottom position to top position. This act of going from bottom to top is a form of reversal and counts as an escape in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu. So far we've got two forms of escape, two modes of escape. The first might be an escape from a position of disadvantage back up to a neutral standing situation, or even neutral down on the knees, as long as there's a break of contact between the two athletes, it would count as an escape. The second would be some kind of complete reversal. We could do it from bottom mount position, as we just saw. It might even be from side control situations where someone had arms in place like so. If I push into my training partner and I feel him pushing back, under these circumstances, this too would count as a form of escape in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu. Anything where we go from bottom position to top would count as some kind of a significant escape. So those are two modes of escape. However, there is a third mode of escape in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu, which is by far and away the most important. It will be by a landslide the dominant form of escape that we will look at in this video series, and it will be the one which will be with you from white belt to black belt as you make your journey down the Jiu-Jitsu road. And this is the form of escape where I put my opponent back into my guard. This is uncommon amongst most grappling sports. Okay, most grappling sports you cannot escape to your back. You can't just put your back on the ground and call that an escape. Only a few grappling arts would count this as an escape at all. Jiu-Jitsu is definitely one of them. The overwhelming majority of escapes in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu are escapes back to the guard position. We're defining guard as any situation where my legs entangle my opponent's body. Okay, I could entangle his legs, I could entangle his waist, I can entangle his arms, etc., etc. If my legs, even a part of my legs, is between myself, my upper body, and my opponent's upper body, you've got him in some kind of guard, and that would count as an escape. Okay, so say for example, if I'm being pinned across side, in situations like this, if I'm able to create some kind of distance between myself and my opponent and bring my legs back between he and I, from a situation like this, we've now successfully escaped. Why? Because we brought our legs back as a barrier between my upper body and his upper body. As long as my legs are that barrier between his torso and my torso, you have your opponent in guard, everything is fine. It doesn't matter if your back is flat on the ground or what have you. This third mode of escape, the use of your legs as a barrier between his upper body and yours, the so-called guard position and the many variations of guard position, is by far the most dominant form of escape in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu. It is the one you will have to invest most of your time in and most of your study. And it is the one which I will spend the overwhelming majority of our time teaching escapes in this mode. So even though there are three modes of escape in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu, as a beginner, the best investment you can make is to invest most of your time in the skill of getting your legs back between you and your opponent and working to escape to guard position.